Okay, there we go. So, hello and welcome to the new moon manifestation circle. It is the new moon in Pisces. We are bogged down by Piscean energy today, and it's pretty amazing. The new moon is in Pisces, the sun is in Pisces, and Mercury is in retrograde transitioning through Pisces as well. So, we are bogged down by so much watery energy, and I'm sure that you have been feeling it, which is why I wanted to hold this circle today. Um, this circle is something that you can take part in after we've done the live circle. So if you're not able to join in live, which it looks like so far we don't have anybody here quite yet, there might be some people that come in later in the circle, but this is something that you can use tonight, you can use it tomorrow, you can use it at any time throughout the moon cycle. When we are able to tap into the energies of the moon, it is something that is going to really help us understand what we are coming up against in our everyday life and how to find balance with all of it. And this is because the moon represents our emotions. If you look at your star chart, your natal chart, the moon is going to represent the inner you. This is all about how you feel. And so the moon is connected to our feelings. It has that direct connection to our emotions. And our emotions are what we use to manifest. So when our emotions are in alignment with our thoughts, then we are able to go into that flow state. And something that Jubilee, our astrology genius that joins us for some of these moon circles, she's not here today because she's in Canada, but something that we were talking about the other day was that, and that she mentioned that I thought was incredibly insightful, was that being in the flow doesn't always mean that everything is positive at all times. So sometimes it can mean that we're coming up against rocks and we're coming up against, blocks in our lives, but we're able to just go with the flow of the experience that is present for us. And so when we think about getting into the flow state, it's not necessarily that we are bypassing the hard times, but it's that we are able to sit through that experience and know that it will pass as we move on to the next part of our journey that takes us closer and closer to what it is that we want to manifest. So knowing that, it's really great to think about that when we're coming into the new moon. The new moon is a time of going inward, and it can also be a challenging time. I always like to think about the fact that the new moon is very closely represented by the season of winter. So during winter, we can easily get very trapped in our emotions, very stagnant, because oftentimes we're stuck inside more often than we're used to because of the weather. The sun doesn't shine as brightly as it does during the summer, so we lack that vitamin D, and we're missing out on that energy that we get from the fire of the summer season. And because of that, we can start to feel a little bit stuck and a little bit stagnant. And because the moon is moving through every zodiac sign within every couple of days, it's usually every 2 to 3 days, we feel the energies of every single sign, but we can tend to feel more of the challenges of those signs as we're going into the new moon and as we're waning into the new moon, which is that point where we come down from the full moon and the light starts to leave and go into that new moon. And so we can feel ourselves literally going down in energy as well sometimes. And some of you might not, and some of you might be on the opposite side of that. And it might be that as we wane and as the energy of the full moon starts to come off a little bit, then you get a little bit more of your energy back and you're able to focus a little bit more. But it's different for everyone. And sometimes it can be a bit challenging. And so I want to share with you some of the challenging aspects of Pisces, because we've been in Pisces for a little bit. The sun has been in Pisces for a while. And so I want to look at the more challenging aspects of Pisces today. And as we look at those challenging aspects, I want you to think about how maybe these challenges have been showing up for you recently. And if they have, how can you structure what it is that you are releasing around these challenges? So by that, I mean, we'll look at the different challenges and you just might take note of, what has been showing up for you and what are you ready to let go of? Because another beautiful thing about the new moon is as we come down from all of this energy of the full moon of the last cycle and we prepare for a new cycle, we want to leave behind what's no longer is serving us. It's like dropping our load, dropping the things that we've been carrying that have been heavy for us so that we can move forward and create space to pick up more things that do serve us. We can set those intentions, start to create intentionally and call in things with purpose. So that's something else that we can look at with the new moon that is really helpful and really beautiful. But before we get into that, and we will do a practice around releasing and we'll do a meditation around visualizing what comes up, I want to share with you some energies about Pisces. So we'll start with the challenging energies of Pisces. Pisces can be a bit challenging if you are somebody who is prone to depression. Pisces can bring that up. Pisces is very prone to depression. People who have a Pisces sun or a Pisces moon or a Pisces rising might notice this. And while we're all affected by this energy, you might notice that as we come into this phase, you might notice a little bit more depression. And this could also look like lethargy, not feeling that motivation and the energy to get up and go like you're used to. You might notice that today was a day where it just felt good to take a nap, to just rest, and you might have felt a little more tired than you normally are. And that's okay. That is some of the energy of Pisces that's being reflected during this time. And like I said, we are in a triangle with Pisces right now. We've got Pisces in retrograde, which is making it kind of hard to communicate without making stories around the conversations that we're having. And we'll talk about that a little bit in a moment as well. We've got Pisces in the sun. So that is how our ego is affected by the energies of Pisces. And so when we think about that, we think about how sometimes we can have some self-destructive thoughts. Pisces is the storyteller, and sometimes we can tell stories that break us down instead of build us up. And by that I mean we might be in certain situations where we don't have all of the details of that situation, and so we start to fill in the blanks with self-destructing stories that don't help to make us feel good. I know that with the last full moon circle that I had, I was realizing like, wow, I'm feeling a little bit awkward here, and I hope that I'm sharing enough information, and maybe I'm not, and maybe nobody's following me, and maybe I'm rambling, and all of these things. And that was when we did transition into Pisces. And so that energy can come up, and you just want to be mindful of that. And with all of these things, sometimes if you Google Pisces traits, you'll see this under negative traits. And I don't really like that wording personally, because I think that there's no good or bad to these aspects, and they don't just stay in that space. It's just important to know that these might be some challenges that come up, and you can work with these challenges. So knowing that Pisces brings up that self-destructive thought, sometimes even self-destructive actions where, we do something and we know that if we spend that money, we're not going to have money for the bills that we have to pay at the end of the month. Or, we know that if we leave that job too early, we're not going to be able to take care of what we need to take care of. So just some self-destructive habits and even thoughts that might arise. These are challenges that you can overcome, especially if you can realize that, oh, this is probably showing up because of the energy of the moon that we are in right now. And that means that it will pass. So we are in Pisces for the next couple of days, and then we move through to the next sign. And that's what's so beautiful about the cycle of the moon, is that we don't stay in one place for too long. And it's a really wonderful reminder of the fact that this life is full of experiences and none of them are permanent. And so when we are coming up against those challenging aspects of a sign, it's a good reminder that, this isn't permanent. And if I am able to not react, but choose to respond in a way that helps me stay in the flow. So once again, align my emotions and align my thoughts. And that just means seeing how your thoughts affect your emotions and choosing not to react, but respond in a way that is supportive of you. You can be in the flow and get through these challenges. And so another challenging energy that comes up with Pisces is that you might be kind of moody. You might be just irritable, a little bit sad, and that's okay. So, once again, just honoring what comes up for you and noticing like, hey, I'm a little bit moody today. And maybe that means that I need to just let my friends know that I'm interacting with, or, let the people that I care about know that I am feeling a little bit moody today. And please hold space for me as I move through this. It's not permanent, but it's where I am at this time. And so speaking to that, another challenging thing that can come up with Pisces is that we might have a hard time expressing that to other people, to have the space held for us that we need. And that's because sometimes Pisces can be a bit secretive. And it doesn't mean that, Pisces is always keeping secrets from each other, from other people, but it's more that if something is going on within you, you might not be sharing it because you might feel ashamed. And another way that might show up is that, you might be keeping secrets from someone. It can actually show up in that way. It might be that you are holding back from telling someone something that's important for them to know. And that's just an energy. It's a challenge. And it's like, okay, well, how am I going to stand in my truth here? How am I going to tap into that throat chakra energy and stand in my truth? And so that's just another thing to notice as far as the challenges with Pisces. And then another one, and this will probably be the last one that we touch on, and it's very important, is that sometimes Pisces can be a little bit over giving and self-martyring. And so that means that Pisces will lay themselves down on the line for people. And they might do it to a point where it is self-destructive, where it is that they are giving all of their energy away. And then at the end of the day, they have nothing left for themselves. And it's really important to find a fine line between this, because while it is amazing and beautiful and we are here to show up for others, it is really important to be able to show up for yourself and fill your own cup. So I think of this in terms of Pisces, that watery energy of, a glass that is half full, and Pisces is just going to pour it all out for somebody else to drink, right? And then there's nothing left. So the way that you can defeat that, or not defeat that, but the way that you can address that is that you can fill your cup right? So that there's enough that you can give somebody half of that cup and you still have some left over. But just be mindful that the energy of being the martyr is something that can come up when the moon is in Pisces. And so just noticing as it arises and saying, hey, all right, I'm here for this and I'm going to do something a little bit differently. So now that we've gone into those, and don't worry if you missed any of those, you can go back and listen to them in the replay, and I'll also be sure to send those out in the email. But let's go ahead and start looking at what it is that we want to release, knowing fully about these challenges that Pisces brings up. Since we have been in the Pisces sun for a good while, since the full moon, it's maybe something that has been coming up for you in the past few weeks. And so just noticing that. And I want to guide you into a quick meditation around it. So if it feels good, go ahead and close your eyes, or you can have them gently open, and just bring your focus to a singular point. So this could be bringing the thumb and index finger together, holding mudra here, and just allowing your focus to be right between that thumb and index finger, that point where they both meet. It could be focusing in on the breath, noticing the movement of the breath as it flows in and out of your body. And taking note of how you are feeling today, how you are feeling in the full sense. What's going on in your mind, in your body? What emotions are coming up for you at this time? And just allowing yourself to be fully present with it all. You might start to tap into some of these energies. Notice if you might be feeling a little bit lethargic, a little moody. Maybe you've been hearing some self-depreciating or self-destructive thoughts running through your mind lately. And trying not to get too attached to any of these things, but just noticing if it's been present. And once again, honoring where you are and meeting yourself with compassion here. You might start to notice how some of these energies feel in your body, what happens in your body physically. Notice where tension might arise. And then bring the focus back to the breath, allowing yourself to create space between you and some of these traits. Being present with it all, but not getting too attached either. And just breathing in and out. And then calling into mind what it is that you're ready to let go of here. Now, this could be something that is represented by some of these traits of giving too much of yourself, or feeling lethargic, maybe even feeling restless. Both can come up, and maybe feeling moody, and how maybe this has held you back from taking action in your life, feeling slow to move towards your goals, feeling pessimistic, thinking that maybe you're just not gonna make it or it's just not gonna work out. Maybe feeling a little bit overly sensitive to the things that people say to you and internalizing, and maybe you're ready to just let all of that go. So just bringing your attention to what it is that's showing up for you and how you are ready to release that at this time. And as you bring each thing to mind, take a deep breath in, fully bringing it in, fully bringing your attention, surrounding it with your energy. And as you exhale, imagine the breath carrying it out of your body, literally removing it from your physical, mental, and spiritual being as you breathe out and giving it away as it no longer serves you. And take a moment to do this with anything else that comes to mind right now. Just seeing that thing that you are ready to release, even if it's a physical thing, seeing it in your mind, breathing space around it, encapsulating it with the breath that you breathe in, and as you exhale, see it moving away from you. Feel yourself releasing it and feel how it feels in your body to fully let go. Even if it's just in this mental place in meditation, and know that this visualization is the first step. And when you're ready, coming back into the present moment, you might rotate the shoulders back and forth, move your neck, just tap into some organic movement as you move back into your body and into this space. Gently open your eyes, bring your focus back. And after this video, I invite you to take some time to go and write these things down. And you could even pause the video now if you're watching it through the replay, and you can just write down what it is that you are releasing. So this is really powerful because you are literally bringing these things out of your mind, out of your body, into the physical, writing it down, and then you have the option to do whatever you would like to ritually release these things. So it could be that you burn the paper that you write these things down on, or you bury it in the earth to be decomposed and transmuted. And you could also do something where you write something down, maybe like a dry erase board or something like that, and use some water to wash it away. Get creative with this because this symbolism is going to be huge. It's going to be something that takes this release one step forward for you. I used to hold new moon circles at the local goddess temple here in Ashland, and we would get super creative with it. We would go out and blow bubbles, and we would, do what I guided you through with breathing our breath in and encapsulating what it is that we were going to release, and then exhaling and blowing it into that bubble and letting that bubble just float it away and take it away. And it was amazing. It was such a beautiful thing to both do and be witnessed doing, because that's even more powerful. If you have friends or family that you want to do these releasing rituals with, that's even more powerful because the energy of them witnessing you as you release and then you holding that space for them is going to be even more powerful. So now that we've kind of talked about how we are releasing with this new moon, I want to talk about the really fun part of how we can work with the energy of Pisces to call things in. And so this is really big because especially with the new moon, you want to think about the new moon as that time of that empty space. So once you've released and you've created the space, you have all of this space to fill. And these empty spaces are like a vacuum. And so I always like to say that if you are intentional about what energy is going into that space, it's going to be even more potent, and you're going to have even more of a chance at creating your reality with this energy. And so once again, looking at the new moon and noticing how that light, as it fills up and we move back into the full moon, we are filling up with energy. We are filling up with energy that is going towards these intentions that we are setting, and it's beautiful. And as we move towards the full moon, we're also moving into Aries. So we're going into that cardinal energy, that fire, that is the beautiful time to start things. And so just some background with that, Pisces is a mutable sign. It is a time for wrapping things up, for completion, so that once we are completed with something, we can move on to the next. And that's when we shift into that cardinal energy of Aries, that beginning energy, that fire, right? And so we have the ability to tap into that now. And we can use that fire to get us out of those places of lethargy. We can use that fire to get us out of those more lazy places that we tend to be in. And so when we are thinking about it in that way, the moon is going to move into Aries next. And the day that the moon moves into Aries is going to be, let me just double check here, it's actually going to move into Aries tomorrow. So we just have a few more hours here. It starts its transition at 11 a.m. and it moves into Aries. And so we'll be in Aries for a couple of days. And so we get to tap into this beautiful, fiery energy of Aries and this new beginning. And so how do you want to start your new beginning? What intentions do you want to set that are going to be guiding you forward through this cycle of the moon? Some of the positive traits of Pisces, the really beautiful traits of Pisces that makes it such an amazing sign, such a magical sign, is that Pisces is incredibly imaginative and creative. And so this is the perfect time to tap into your dreams and set some intentions and go big with this. But the key is to set intentions with a purpose. So if you're setting intentions that you don't have any emotional drive behind, then I don't want to say that it's not possible that they will come true, but it's probably less likely that you're going to be able to flow towards them, because just as we are aligning thoughts with emotions to be in the flow state, and we're doing that in a way where we're a little bit more non-reactive, we are also using the emotions to fuel us to tap into certain intuition and have those thoughts build up around how we can accomplish our goals. So if you're setting intentions, you want to make sure that you're using that fiery energy of Aries, the passion of the fire to fuel your intentions. And the way that you can come up with this is through that beautiful, imaginative, and creative energy that Pisces holds, because this is a really powerful time for visualization. And I think that something about visualization that I love is that it helps to put us in the moment so that we can start to feel what it feels like once we have accomplished our goals before it's even happened. So it's very powerful. Another energy that's really powerful and really beautiful with Pisces that's going to help you move through the Piscean energy is compassion and love. They are the lovers. They are so loving. I mean, they are super communal. And Pisces loves to have all of their friends surrounding them so that they can just like share with them and give them love and give them compassion and cheer them on. And the thing about this is sometimes they forget to give this love and compassion to themselves. So if we go back to the challenges that we discussed earlier, some of the self-destructive thoughts and the pessimism that comes up, you just want to tap into the positive aspects of Pisces because they are there. And notice that compassion is high. Love is very high with this energy. And so if you can tap into it and just ride that wave of compassion and love for yourself, it's going to be pretty easy to switch that energy around. Another beautiful energy of Pisces is that they are romantics. They love candlelight and dinners and dates. And so this is really great for if you're in a romantic relationship, you can tap into the love and the compassion and the romantic energy of Pisces and really bring some fire, bring some, I guess if we're talking about the Piscean water, we can bring some flow, some connection, some sacral energy into your relationship. And another thing is that they're deeply spiritual and intuitive. And so this is another thing that can help us to set intentions and, thinking about what feels really good for you as you write it down. And then tapping into your intuition to help you move towards that intention. Knowing when to move and when to be still. Listening to that thought that tells you to call that person or say hello to that person that's walking down the street, and really trusting your intuition if maybe it's telling you not to say hello to that person or not to call that friend. So our intuition is really powerful during the Piscean moon and the Pisces sun as well. So you really want to notice what's coming up in your intuition and honor that and follow that, because intuition is also what's going to help us get into that flow state. Another thing about Pisces is, so we talked about the challenge of how Pisces can be kind of secretive. However, the privacy that Pisces embodies is actually not all bad. And so I like to think of this in terms of if you have a new idea and it's an idea that, maybe you're not fully firm in your foundation around. It's something that you want to start and it makes you feel really good, but you're not quite ready to share it with the world yet. And that's because you're not ready to have outside energies intermingle with this idea that you have. So this could be around the intentions that you're setting. Maybe there's some intentions that you just keep to yourself, that you just hold some space and privacy around. And it doesn't mean that you never share them. It doesn't mean that you never, shine light on it and bring some full moon energy to it and shine your light. It's always important to shine your light at a certain point if this is something that you want to bring into the world. But that privacy is going to be something that helps you to just foster and nurture those ideas until you feel fully firm in your foundation around them, until you feel like if you were to share it with someone else and they weren't able to resonate with you on that idea, it's not going to be something that you internalize. It's not going to be something that bogs down your personal energy around the creation of that idea. So tapping into the private energy of Pisces and looking at it in a positive light here is going to be really helpful. And then another thing is the nurturing and adaptive energy of Pisces. So Pisces is part of being a mutable sign is that they are able to go with the flow. So being at the end of the energies here shows that Pisces is able to transition easily. They are able to, move their plans around. They're okay with that. And so there is a way to tap into this and say, okay, maybe things aren't going exactly the way that I thought they would. How can I be adaptive and tap into that Piscean energy that helps me to adapt to the situation so that we can move through it, so that I can stay in the flow. So knowing all of this, This is something that can really help you with crafting your intentions for the cycle to come. So these new moon intentions that you're setting, these seeds that you're planting in this fertile soil, and intentions that are fueled by your emotions and your passion and that have a purpose and a deep meaning to you. This is a great time to set intentions because this part of Pisces is in that transition between winter and spring. And so, what's lovely about this, and that's why it is a mutable sign, because it is transitioning between the seasons. So, we are literally wrapping up, we're coming to the end of a season and we're moving into the next. And when we think about spring, we think about new beginnings, growths, rebirth. That is all present within this energy of Pisces. And that's why there is so much creativity. There is so much intuition of when it's time to blossom. There is so much compassion and love because we are transitioning and we need to hold space for what transition really means. And know that when we hold space for ourselves in these transitions, we can move through them with ease. We need to be able to be adaptive. And so, looking at all of that, I want to guide you into another meditation. And this meditation is going to help you with creating your reality moving forward into this next 28-day cycle. So go ahead and drop in. Close your eyes if that feels good. You can even leave your eyes open here. Just soften your gaze. Maybe find a single point to focus your attention on. And as you focus on this single point, allow it to bring you deeper into yourself. And you're going to take your energy into your third eye, deep into the center of your mind, the space where you create and where you envision your future. And as we harness the energy of Pisces, I encourage you to dream big here. What is it that you want to see happen in your life? What is it that you want to get started on between now and the full moon? What would you like to accomplish within the next 28-day cycle of the moon? Take a deep breath in and exhale. Melt the shoulders, relax deeper inward, and focus on your dreams here. Notice every detail. Where are you going? Who are you speaking with? What are you creating? And how do you feel? Most importantly, how does all of this make you feel? How does it feel to get up and move towards your dreams? How does it feel to accomplish one thing and then the next as you take vital steps towards your goal? How does it feel to be in your body in this place that you are envisioning? What colors are you seeing? What sounds are you hearing? What are you touching, tasting, smelling? What are you receiving in these visions? What are you saying yes to? How are you honoring your no's and allowing them to guide you closer and closer to your yes? Feel it all. And as you wrap up this meditation, start to see yourself at the end, finish line, where that goal has been met, that intention has been met. And feel into the gratitude you feel for making it there, for making it happen. Send gratitude to yourself for doing what you needed to do to get where you wanted to be. Send gratitude to the universe for placing you in the right place at the right time, bringing in the right helpers, taking away the things that created obstacles for you, helping you flow easily to this place. Breathe into that gratitude and gently open your eyes, bringing that gratitude with you back into the present moment. So giving gratitude to the fact that these intentions are already met. The fact that you could envision it, visualize it, dream it means that you were meant to have it and it's already there for you. And so now your writing prompt for today is to go ahead and write out the end of this vision. So everything that happens, everything that happened at the end, everything that you felt, everything you saw, touched, tasted, smelled, who you were with, who helped you out, who you talked to, everything that you can think about. Use your creativity here, use your imagination, and write it down. If you want to take it a step further, you can even do a vision board and have something that you look at every day that shows you all of those end goals. And this will be a really powerful way to work with the energy of Pisces as we move towards the full moon, because Pisces is magic. And you will be amazed at how many things you'll be able to bring in. So we are building up that energy here. We are stepping into our dreams, and we are using this Pisces energy to help push us forward with that beautiful flowing energy of water to help us get into and stay in the flow as we move forward towards the full moon. So I hope that this is something that is super helpful for you. And with that meditation that we just did, you can do this every single day. This isn't just a new moon meditation. This is a meditation you can do before bed. It's great to visualize before bed because then you get to go to sleep and your mind gets to work on how it's going to make those things happen. You can do it for as long as you like. If you didn't get enough time to really see what it is that you wanted to see, then take some time and do it again. And stay in that place of visualization for as long as you'd like. And just make sure that you're really tapping into the feelings, because those emotions are what is going to move you. And the last thing that I wanted to share with you all is that I am now doing moon readings. So what these moon readings are is I've created a chart that maps out every single day from now until the full moon. And it will tell you where the moon is, what placement in the zodiac the moon is moving through. And I will also break it down to be personalized for you. So we'll look at, for example, today is Pisces. So we would look at what houses in your chart Pisces is in. We'll look at your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, and any other aspects that are going to affect how you are experiencing this day in the cycle. I'll be able to break down to you some of the challenges that might arise and some ways that you can work with those challenges to find balance and stay in your flow. And then I'll also send you that chart so that you can look at it every single day and say, oh, okay, this is what I was feeling today. This is the zodiac that the moon was in, and this is why this was coming up for me. This is what I can be mindful of today. It also maps out the void of course. So this is the time when the moon is transitioning from one sign to the other. And during this time, the moon is always having a conversation with a certain planet before it transitions. So I will map this out for you, and I'll give you some tips on what you can do during this void of course. This is usually a time where we don't want to take too much action. We don't want to put too much energy into something that we are too attached to the outcome of. So I will look at how this pertains to you personally, and we'll talk about how you can move through these times and essentially manifest what it is that you're looking to manifest by keeping control of your emotions and staying in the flow throughout the entire cycle each day from the new moon to the full moon. Now, I'm only offering 12 of these every month. So this is the first month, and there are 12 spots open to have these new moon readings. So what you'll do is, if you want to do this new moon reading, in the email that I send out after, I'll send it out with the replay, you'll be able to sign up for the new moon reading. The new moon readings are charged hourly, so it's $33 an hour. And that is just how long it takes me to work on your chart, and then the hour that it takes for us to talk about the chart. So it usually only takes me about 2 hours to go through, work through your chart, and then an hour to talk about it. So that's 3 hours, and it's $33 an hour. So if you are interested in signing up for a new moon reading, then keep an eye out for the email, and you can get on that list of 12 people. I'm only doing 12 people because it is a lot of work for me, and I really go deep into your chart, and I go into how every single day is going to affect you. So you're going to get a lot out of this in terms of what to expect, and it's kind of like your own personal astrological reading for every single day of the moon cycle and how it's going to affect you. And with this, you'll be able to look at what it is that you're releasing for each day, what it is that you can call in, what energy you can work with to help you be fully in your flow. So it's going to be really special. I've done this for a few friends already, and they definitely got a lot out of it. I've been doing it for myself, and each day, I get to tap in with my friend and talk about the energy that's going on, where the moon is, how it's affecting me, and it never fails to be spot on. And what's really amazing about it is when I'm able to notice what's going on, I'm like, oh, that's why, I've been experiencing these certain challenges today, and this is how I can move through them. So it really helps to bring mindfulness to each day as we move through these cycles. And it really helps us to be able to be in our flow. And if we feel out of alignment, then get right back in alignment. So it's some really super fun stuff to look at. It's super powerful, and I'm really excited to share it with you. Part of what I will also be including in your moon reading is some intuitive guidance. So I have a really beautiful crystal angel deck. Oops, crystal angel deck here, and it's by Doreen Virtue. This deck is amazing, and there are some really beautiful cards. It's all an oracle deck, guidance on how you will be able to move through the challenging parts of the cycle. And so what we'll do is we'll talk about your chart, and then if there are any questions that you have about what you find out, we will I'll give you a intuitive reading on that. I'll pull a card for you that will help you move through that, give you some guidance. And then I also have another deck here, and this is the Work Your Light Oracle card deck. And it's a beautiful deck that it's by Rebecca Campbell, and this is a really great deck for looking at what is it that you need to be looking at that maybe you're not looking at, triggering those deep questions that will help you uncover what it is that might be challenging you or how you can reframe your challenges. And so I want to leave you today with a card from each one of these decks that is going to give you all some insight, general insight here. So I'll tap into the energy of whoever will be watching this and just give you some general insight. And, it is general, so it may not fully resonate with you. And if not, that's okay. That's why purchasing the personal moon reading is going to be really potent and powerful, because all of this information that we've talked about today is on a general level. But once we get into those moon readings, I'll be able to go deep into your chart and give you all personalized insight on how these energies affect you and how best to work with them. And then you'll also get a personalized intuitive reading as well. So I'll go ahead and just pull a card here. And I'm tapping into what is it that we need to look at in terms of challenges that we might be facing during this new moon in Pisces. What do we need to look at? What challenges are we facing during this new moon in Pisces? And what do we need to let go of? Okay. So this is interesting. So the card that came out, there's two cards here. And so one is trust your path. And trust your path was on top of the crumbling. So the crumbling can be equated to the tower in the Rider-Waite deck. This is going to be things that are falling apart, but it's falling apart so that we can create something new. So if you look at this card here, you see this dark tower. It's falling apart, it's crumbling, but behind it is this beautiful field of flowers. It's spring. And so a lot of you might be facing some energy, feeling the deep depths of seasonal depression from this winter, feeling like, wow, this winter has been long, and feeling how maybe that might be breaking you down a little bit. But just know that we're breaking down so that we can be rebirthed in this springtime, reborn into a new place. And so what are you clinging on to is the question that is on this card. So maybe think about that as you are writing down what you're letting go of. And then the question for trust your path is, if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So this is asking you to step into your intuition, into your imagination here, into that creative energy of Pisces. And if you knew that everything is going to be taken care of and you didn't have anything to fear as you go through this crumbling, what would you do? What decisions would you make? So really tapping into that. And you can journal on those. I'll be sure to put the descriptions of those cards in the email as well that I send out after this and with the replay. And then also, I want to leave you with a guidance card here, an oracle card that gives you some guidance around what is crumbling. So how to let go of what it is that you're holding on to and how to tap into the support that you need. So just a message here. And it's funny because this one just flew out and it is the perfect card. So this is the Tiger's Eye card. And the Tiger's Eye is a stone that represents strength, total fierce strength within yourself. And it says self-confidence through God confidence. And so self-confidence through trusting in spirit, trusting in the divine, whatever you call it, just knowing that at all times this energy is flowing and moving through you. And just like I said earlier about everything that you're envisioning, it is meant for you. We come into this life with so many beautiful dreams wrapped up in us that we are meant to achieve as long as we trust that spirit will lead us to them. And so it says, believe in yourself by believing in God working through you, believing in spirit working through you, believing in the divine or whatever you call it working through you. And through is actually underlined in this card because it's so important to remember that when we allow ourselves to surrender, that is what gets us in the flow. And when we are in the flow, we are allowing spirit to work through us and guide us down our path. So I will also include that in the email when I send out this replay. And I am just wishing you the most amazing new moon experience. I am wishing you ease and letting go of what you are wanting to let go of, and wishing you all of the love and compassion of Pisces, and hoping that all of your intuition or your intentions are met, and that you are able to tap into your intuition and allow it to guide you towards your dreams as we move from this new moon to the full moon. So be sure to reach out for me if you're interested in getting a moon reading, and we will dive into it all. And I am sending you so much love and moonlight.